I'm so delighted to see you, Cadbury, because there was all sorts of disturbances today. It's 10:15 in the evening, you've come in, you've had a nice meal, and you're inside safe with Nanna and Pop, although Nanna's having a tinkle at the moment, or a number 2. She'll be horrified to think I've let your billions of fans know that. But I just had a number 2, so I warmed the seat for her. Did I have a number 2 or did I do a number 2? I just did a number 2. I should get it correct. And yes, she'll be back in a minute. But darling, we were worried about you today because we had visitors with 3 grandchildren who were 8, 10 and 12 or something like that. 3 young girls who went all around the backyard squealing and carrying on when you were up there, because they came back from the deepest depths of the backyard, deepest, darkest Africa it is. And gives away my age, deepest, darkest Africa. And an old saying. They asked, do we have cats? And I said, we've got a cat. And I said, what colour? And they said, there's 2 cats up there. And I said, what, was one of them grey? And they said, yes. And that was obviously you, darling. And there was obviously a neighbour's cat or whatever, because it is a cat sanctuary, our backyard, because there are no dogs and lots of places to hide and interesting places to have adventures. And so then you weren't seen for about 6 hours, darling, after they left at 2 o'clock. You weren't seen. Or was it 7 hours? Oh, no, I did see you. You did turn up about 5 hours later from the direction of the neighbours. And I thought, oh, wonderful. So you'd gone over to Prem and Rika's to hide maybe and wait till all the dust had settled, because you do get put out of sorts when strange people come. You do, my darling. So I was worrying about that, and then after I saw you, you didn't come in to eat, so it was about 3 hours after I saw you out the front, and you stalked the black rabbit, just friendly stalking, because you know that you can't catch it, it's too big. The pet rabbit that comes from up several houses up, and eats our lucerne, and I don't mind, and eats our kikuyu around the lemon tree, and I don't mind, and comes into the backyard and eats our lawn, and I don't mind, so long as it doesn't eat the aloe and scratch things up, which hasn't done it yet. You were 2 metres away from it, just crouching, watching it, and it was watching you and didn't seem the least bit concerned. But then you went missing, and so why I'm very super relieved is half an hour ago I heard this caterwauling outside and thought, oh no, that could be Cadbury. So I turned the lights on out there, went out, because there was another cat, and I thought, oh no, she might have a fight with another cat, and then you turned up, darling. So the lights frightened the big bad Boar away, Boar cat, and you came in and ate, and that was such a relief, my sweet. But not before I'd cuddled you outside and told you that I was so relieved to have you back. And then you're in here sleeping the sleep of the innocent, an innocent little efficient killing machine. Yes, an innocent vermin killer. Yes, my darling. So what a relief to have the most beautiful little cat in the world, our first and so far only grandchild, coming inside and being safe and sound for a while. Yes, what a lovely relief, hey darling. Well, what a day. Had Ron and Debbie and the 3 grandchildren come over. Ron called in last week. I've known Ron for, I won't say 25 years, but maybe I have, but over 20 probably, through our wonderful friends Kim and Rita up the road. And Ron just saw me in the front yard driving by a week ago on Sunday, called in, I showed him the bamboo I'm growing at the back, and he nearly fell over when he saw the aloe. And he said his wife Debbie was trying to grow aloe, and mine was vastly better looking and healthier, and asked me what I did, and I told him, and he said, oh, I must bring Debbie over. So I rang Debbie last night, and she came with Ron and the 3 granddaughters I had to care for, and she's gone away with a nice pot of aloe pups, some quite big. She should get at least 30 to 35, maybe 40, but it could even be 40, but at least 30 good sized pups out of the pot. And I've told her what I feed them, sea salt and power feed, about how much, how to treat them in winter and summer. Not because I'm an expert, but just because from trial and error I've done it, and they've been thriving. How much sun to give them. But and I filleted one of my bigger leaves and showed Debbie how how I scrape the gel out, because I don't have big enough leaves to do what the health ranger, whatever he is, natural newsman, who runs that website, and he grows his aloe in Arizona, and they're so big he has to have 3 men drag a leaf in and virtually get a chainsaw to just cut off the outer skin, and then he fillets it like a giant big tuna, and he's got this enormous big slab of aloe gel which he puts in his smoothies. I am exaggerating a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, but they look about 1 inch thick and 4 inches wide, and mine are the biggest I ever get are a third that size. But you never know. I won't give up yet. I might get there. Cabby, you're very dusty. My hands are getting black and gritty and dusty. You're covered in dust, my little sweet. So when you sit on the lounge, I better assume it's going to be covered in dust. Yes. So I filleted. I scraped the aloe off a leaf, and I onto a plate, tipped it into a glass, and drank about 30 ml in front of them straight away, and they nearly fell over. The little girls squealed. And I told them a good trick is to have a little bit in a handkerchief, sneeze into it at a party or something in front of your friends, show them all what would appear to be snot, and then eat it in front of them. And they thought that was a great idea. So old Pop still hasn't grown up, darling. He still acts like a teenage boy. Yes, little nose. Sorry, darling, I just touched your little nose, didn't I? And then Ron tells me he's had ulcerative colitis for 30 odd years or something, genetically, and that's the cause of his anemia. He's always low on iron. He's bleeding internally all the time. So I said, well, he's just the candidate to take aloe vera gel internally, because I'm taking it for diverticulosis in the entire bowel, the lower, middle and upper bowel, whatever they call them, transverse, descending, and what all those names are. And I would like to heal it, and I believe I will one day, and the aloe will help me. Yet there are, of course, those that say don't take aloe internally. I don't take the skin, like that wild and brave, hairy man from the Vines, Steve Jackson. He takes the skin and all, and I think, no, I took it for a little while on his prompting, but I kept remembering from my youth that you don't take aloe skin, and then I looked up half a dozen websites. None of them recommended the skin. They all recommended not to have the skin, and so I really do think Steve should skip the skin, but he swears by it with the gel. He's encouraged, he thinks, by his interpretation of Isabel Shippard in Queensland. Well, I read the same thing he read, and it's a bit ambiguous as I recall. I don't know that she's necessarily saying take the skin. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. I should email her one day and actually find out. But plenty of sites say don't take the skin, so I don't recommend it. But I reckon Ron would be helped a great deal by a daily, say 50 ml at least, of aloe gel. So if Debbie can get them growing and spreading, and in a couple of years' time they should have hundreds of aloe plants, and they pop up and spread and grow. And I offered Ron in roughly September, in early to mid-spring, to take maybe at least 3 big bamboo culms, new culms come up this season right now, still growing, that haven't leafed up yet, haven't got shoots, side shoots from the nodes yet, to put him in about a 7-metre trench of Bambusa old hamii, because he fell in love with it last week, and he needs a privacy hedge on one side of his yard or whatever. So he's very happy about that offer. We'll layer it. When I say 3 culms, we'll layer them down on the ground, and it'll, like I did with mine, and we should get the 7 metres covered. And about 4 years' time, you should have a very impressive hedge if you can feed and water it enough. But he's got the same hungry Perth sand as I've got. Well, darling, we've only got 20 seconds of this masterpiece, and I've been yabbering about all the stuff that I did today. Well, darling, for some reason, yes, 10 seconds. Okay, darling, I love you, Cadbury. I really do. True love is never wrong, my darling. See you later.